Problem 19, we've got x minus 9y equals -1, and we've got the point -1, -8, and what we're trying to do is find the equation of a line that's parallel to this line that goes through the point -1, -8. Now remember, parallel lines have the same slope, so what I need to do first is I need to find the slope of this line, but this line is in standard form. So to see the slope, what I need to do is I need to rewrite it in slope-intercept form, which is basically like saying I need to solve for y, right? So how do I do that? Well, I can get the x on the left side here over on the right side by just subtracting x from both sides, right? So if I subtract x from the left side, all I'm going to have left is a minus 9y. The minus isn't going to go away. And now that x is going to be over here on this side. Minus x minus 1. So remember, I've said before, I mean, it's like if I want to move this x to the right side, I can just switch the sign and move it over. And then I just bumped the -1 to the right instead of writing it -1 minus x. Okay, we're still not done because I have to solve for y. I still have a -9 there, right? So I have to divide everything by -9. And here's where you want to be careful because we've got a lot of signs here, right? We've got a lot of negatives. So these undo each other. -9 divided by -9 is just 1y. Here I need to be careful. Negative x divided by -9 is going to be a positive x over 9. And -1 divided by a -9 is going to be a positive 1 over 9. Alright, so now I'm in slope-intercept form, sort of. What's the slope? Well, it's kind of hard to see when it's written like this, so what I can do is instead of writing x over 9 like I've done, that's the same thing as 1 over 9 times x. And now I can see the slope more easily, right? I can see that the slope, remember, x over 9 is the same thing as 1/9 times x. There's no difference except the way it looks. And now I can see clearly that, okay, here's my slope. I did all that work just to find the slope, and the slope is 1/9. Alright, so now we're doing what we were doing back in lesson, I think it was, well, it was yesterday, I don't remember if it was 6.4 or 6.5. But you have the slope, because remember, for parallel lines, parallel lines have the same slope. I've got a point, and now I can go ahead and find the equation of the line. Now, today we're going to learn something new called point slope formula, and that's going to be the one that I use here. So remember, that's y minus the y, so y minus -8 equals the slope, which is 1/9, times x minus the x coordinate. So x minus a -1. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and rewrite with the proper signs, right? Because minus a -8, well, that's just y plus 8. And this is going to be x plus 1. Alright, still got some work to do because they want us to write it in slope-intercept form, not in point-slope form. So distribute the 1/9, and I'll get 1/9 x plus 1 over 9. And now what I need to do is subtract 8 from both sides. right? If I want to get rid of the 8, I use the inverse operation. So I'm going to subtract 8 and subtract 8. All right, these 8's undo each other. Now on this side I only have y, which is what I want. Here's where you've got to, we've got to do some fractioning here. And I think the easiest way to do it is just to think, okay, what number divided by 9 equals 8? What number divided by 9 equals 8? And it is 72. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1 over 9 minus 72 over 9. Move my arrow here. Because 72 over 9 is the same thing as 8. Or minus 72 over 9 is the same thing as minus 8. And now you can see that, okay, well that means the answer is going to be a negative 71 over 9. We can't reduce that, and my arrow keeps getting in the way here. So we can write the equation now. We're basically done. I know what the slope is, 1/9 x. And now I know what the y-intercept is. It's going to be minus 71 over 9. And so there's the answer for problem 19, and that's a lot of work for one problem. So it's a pretty difficult problem, I would say. All right, 24. Now we're going to do something very similar. Here we're given an equation, y equals 9x plus 2. So not a standard form equation, which is going to make things a little bit easier. And we have the point 8 minus 3. But now what I'm being asked to do is find a line that's perpendicular to this line. Perpendicular that goes through the point 8 minus 3. Okay, well, again, this is in slope-intercept form, so that's nice. I can see the slope is going to be 9. That means the perpendicular slope is the negative reciprocal, or in this case, negative 1 over 9. That's going to be, here I'll do the little perpendicular sign down there. The perpendicular slope is going to be negative 1 over 9. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing I did when I got to this part of the problem. I got the slope. I got the point. I use the point slope form. Remember, that's the y minus the y. I'm saying y minus y. It's usually written, like y minus y sub 1. But I'm just saying you do y minus the y coordinate. And then I've got x minus the x coordinate. And now we're just going to simplify this, and we'll be done. So I got y plus 3 equals a negative 1 over 9 x plus, right, I got to watch the signs, it's going to be plus 8 over 9. Okay, now we're back in fraction land. I got to subtract 3 from both sides, and remember, I'm just going to ask what number divided by 9 equals 3. If I want to subtract 3 from both sides, what number divided by 9 equals 3? It's 27, right? So this will be y equals negative 1 over 9 x plus 8 over 9 minus 27 over 9. All right. 8 minus, so just clean that up. We'll get y equals negative 1/9 x. And then 8 minus 27 is going to be a minus 19 over 9. And there's the answer for 24. Okay, one more problem. Let's take a look at 27. Here, you're given two equations. You're given x minus, this is 27, x minus 5y equals a minus 5. And you're given 5x minus y equals negative 6. And the question you're asked is, are these lines parallel or are they perpendicular? Well, unfortunately, they're both in standard form, which means I need to take both of these guys and change them into slope-intercept form so I can see what the slope is. So let's start with this guy up here. Remember, I just want to move the x over to the right side. All I have to do is just change the sign to a minus x, bump it over like that, divide everything by a minus 5, and now I can see that what I'm going to be left with is y equals a positive 1/5, right? Because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. 1/5 x plus 1. Okay. So I can see the slope is 1/5 for this guy. Okay, I come over here now. I need to find this slope. Okay, so I do the same thing. First step is I move the 5 x's, and all I have to do is just change the sign and bump them over to the right side. I get that. Negative y, so I just multiply everything by a negative 1. And that just means that all the signs will change, and so I get y equals 5x plus 6. Y-intercepts don't really matter here. What we're really focusing on are the slopes. So I have a slope of 1/5 here, and I have a slope of 5 here. So they're not parallel, because to be parallel they have to have the same slope. But here's the thing, they're not perpendicular either, because this would have to be a negative 1/5, or this would have to be a negative 5 for them to be perpendicular. So for 27, the answer is they are neither parallel nor perpendicular.